Hello, good morning, and welcome to Library Scented Life. If you're new here, my name is Sydney. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. So today is Sunday and I have a long weekend until Tuesday, so I figured I would do a reading vlog of sorts and possibly a 24-hour readathon. Now I am probably going to sleep because that's the type of person I am, but I figured I would do a full day of reading from now until tomorrow at the same time. Now I'm doing this readathon because it is September and I start school next week on Friday, and I'm worried that I'm not going to get as much reading in as I usually do. So to kick off my TBR, I figured I would push through a couple of the books this weekend and get them through. To start off the readathon, I am going to do an obligatory bookstore visit to Indigo, which is kind of the Barnes & Noble of Canada. I'm going to go to one of the bigger locations and pick up two of the books on my TBR that I actually don't own, because they are the smaller ones that I'll be able to get through a bit faster so I can get through more. Indigo, and I was looking for this book, Less, by Andrew Sean Greer, for my book club with my friends, and I was also looking for Blue Lily, Lily Blue, the third book in the Raven Cycle series, and I couldn't find it. They only had the first and the last book there. So instead of choosing another book that's not on my TBR, I resisted the temptation. I almost picked up a few, but instead I'm going to go to a different Indigo and pick up Blue Lily, Lily Blue so that I can actually read books on my TBR for this readathon. Alright, so I am back from the second Indigo. So this Indigo also only had the first book and the last book, so I guess Blue Lily, Lily Blue is going to have to wait a little bit longer. So as I showed you guys in the car, I picked up Less by Andrew Sean Greer, and this is about a 50-year-old man. And usually 50-year-old men characters I don't identify with that much, so I'm hoping the story is very interesting so I can stay interested. But on the plus side, I got coffee, which is life juice, and that will hopefully help me to stay up a bit longer so that I can read as much as possible. Like I said before, I think I'm probably going to sleep because I'm weak and I can't last 24 hours and then the next day be an okay human being. So I am going to sleep a little bit, but I'm going to try my best to stay up and then wake up slightly early and try to get as much reading done between now and tomorrow at the same time. So it is now 3:56 on September 2nd. I'm thinking I will start around 4 o'clock and do 4 o'clock today to 4 o'clock tomorrow, just constant reading. So if you didn't watch my September TBR, I'm going to show the books to you now and let you know my options for what I'm going to get through today. So we have Less, we have The Thing About Jellyfish by Ali Benjamin, we have You by Caroline Kepnes. That one's really big. I don't know if we're going to be into that today. We have The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, which I've never read before, and it's really popular. So I might actually read it today and vlog the experience so that people who have read this can react to me reacting to it, if that makes sense. And we also have Horns by Joe Hill. Realistically, these books are all around 400 pages, so I'll be able to read 2, possibly 3 if I read the really short ones. So this one is really short, it's 270 pages, and then Percy Jackson and then The Thing About Jellyfish are both middle grades, so I might be able to get through those, but I might try to power through a big book so that I can get one out of the way, and the smaller books can be saved for when I'm in school and busier, so I might do that instead. So I am going to limit my picks to this pile, but they are very different genres. I might be okay sticking to it, and I might be able to just pick from it. So it is now 3:59 and I need to decide what I'm going to start with. I'm thinking I might start with Less, just because it is really short, and then that'll motivate me to continue reading if I finish this book. So this one I am going to be marking up with little sticky notes just so that I can keep tabs on things I liked and things I didn't like, so that at the end of the month when I meet with my friends, I'll know why I liked or disliked the book and I can discuss things. So I'm going to be sticky tabbing this one, and then we'll see how I feel after reading that. It is now officially 4 o'clock on September 2nd, and it's time to start reading. Okay, so I'm about 84 pages into Less by Andrew Sean Greer, and I just went down a Google hole. So there is something in here about something taking place during the year the cicadas returned, and I didn't know what that meant, so I looked it up, and apparently there are certain types of cicadas that only come out every 17 years. So like, I went down this really long Google Wikipedia hole about cicadas, and I found a cicada life cycle website, and I've been looking at that for the past like 30 minutes, and now I know so much about cicadas. Did you know there are over 190 species of cicadas? Things you didn't need to know. But yeah, apparently there are some that, like, once they're hatched in a tree, they bury themselves, and like certain ones are up to 2 years, and then other ones are up to 17 years, and then sometimes a bunch of them will come out at once, and that's why there's like certain years where there's big hordes of these giant cicada bugs. But yeah, so that was my thing I learned today. But this book is actually better than I expected to be. I really like the humor. The descriptions are very lyrical, which I appreciate, and it's not very often you read an adult contemporary that has very lyrical words. So this follows a man who is avoiding a wedding that he was invited to because it's the wedding of someone he was in love with and ended up breaking his heart. So instead of doing that, he accepts all these invitations to writing conferences and interviews that he's been avoiding as well, because he is a writer, and he finally accepts all these invitations and goes around the world to all these different places, and he's remembering things of people in his past and people he was in love with in the past, and he's just contemplating life. And usually I don't enjoy those that much, but it's actually going pretty well for 85 pages in. So after that tangent on cicadas, I'm going to read a bit more, and then I'm probably going to get something to eat. My boyfriend is out getting ice cream with his friends right now, and he's going to bring me food on the way back, which is so great. So I'm going to take a food break, and then I'm going to get back into this. So I will update you probably after the food break, unless I come across another thing about cicadas, because you are so interested in that. Okay, so it is now almost 11 o'clock, and I finished Less by Andrew Sean Greer. So I actually really enjoyed this more than I thought I would. While reading it, it was around 3 stars, but then the last like 10 pages or so were like 4 stars. So I gave it a 3.5 just because that ending was really, really cute. So I was actually really impressed with this book. I wasn't expecting anything out of it. So I'm glad that I enjoyed that, and I actually have a couple positive things to say at my book club meeting at the end of the month. So I just marked all my positives and negatives, and I'm going to be writing out a pros and cons list at the end of the month for that one. So I wasn't reading for 7 hours straight as it seems I was. That was a really short book. I should have been through it much faster than that, but I took a long break to eat, and then I was chatting with my boyfriend a little bit, and afterwards my flowers tipped over, so I had to fix that, and there's water everywhere. So hopefully my next book I'm going to get through a lot faster, although I am going to keep in mind that I am only 7 hours into 24 hours, so there's still lots of time, even if it does take me that long to get through the other book. So I think next I'm going to go for a middle grade after an adult contemporary. So the 2 middle grades I have are The Thing About Jellyfish and the first book in the Percy Jackson series. And I'm thinking I really want to start the Percy Jackson series. This one seems like it would be faster and lighter, but I think it would be fun for you guys to watch me get through The Lightning Thief for the first time ever. I've seen like the first half of the first movie, and that's it. That's all I know about this series. So I think it would be fun to get into. So I'm going to start that right now, and then I will update you guys when I read a little bit of it and tell you what I think. Okay, so it is around 12:45. It is officially the next day. I'm around 120 pages into The Lightning Thief, and I'm just at the part where they're about to start the
capture the flag game. I think that's about the part that I saw up until into the movie, so after this I don't remember at all what happens, so that'll be interesting. So far I do like the book. I mentioned before in one of my other videos that I really loved Greek gods and Greek mythology, so this is really fun for me. This is a train that I missed out on, so I'm happy to be reading this now and getting all the references finally. I'm also starting to get really tired, so I'm going into more of my coffee, and hopefully that will last me a bit longer. I don't know how long I'm actually going to stay up because I do actually want to sleep, or else it'll mess up my sleep schedule for the next couple days. So I'm gonna stay up as much as I feel I should, so I will check in with you when I've read a little bit more. Hello, it is 3 a.m. I have 110 pages left of The Lightning Thief. I'm so tired though. I'm starting to fall asleep while reading, and then I'm rereading the same sentence over and over again. Coffee isn't working anymore. It's just making me more tired at this point, so I think I'm going to go to bed and set an alarm for earlier tomorrow morning and hope that I wake up at that time so that I can get some reading in, and I will finish this one tomorrow morning, and then I will move on to something else. And I have until 4 p.m. tomorrow, so I feel like I'll be able to get a third book in there. And yeah, so I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning or later today when I wake up. Hello, good morning. It is now September 3rd at 9 a.m. and I'm still tired. I was meaning to wake up at 8, but then I fell back asleep, which is fine. I only ended up getting around 5 hours of sleep, so I still think that was more of like a rest for the night than a full-on sleep, so I still have time to read. Yeah, so it is 9 a.m. I'm wearing my robe because my house is so cold in the morning. I got out of bed just shivering, which always makes me want to go back to bed, so I put this by my bed on purpose, just so that I don't have an excuse to stay in bed. So I think I'm going to take an example from Zoe from Read by Zoe and her amazing readathons, and she always takes a bath to keep herself awake, and I think I'm going to do that with the last 110 pages of The Lightning Thief. And yeah, so I will update you after my bath and hopefully when this book is done. Oh, I have returned. My hair is wet because of the bath, and The Lightning Thief is complete. So I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm not as obsessed with it as I would have been if I had read it when I was younger, but I really enjoyed it. The characters are sweet and I like the friendship quality in it, and I thought a lot of aspects of it were unique, and a lot of them had the traditional middle grade fantasy elements that I love, so I really enjoyed that one. So then after I finished that, I actually ended up watching BookTube for a little bit. I was just watching it while doing my makeup, and then I watched it for a bit longer, so now it is actually 12 o'clock and I only have 4 hours left to read. So my reading options are The Thing About Jellyfish, which is a middle grade and it's about 400 pages. I might be able to finish this one if I read it in the 4 hours. I also have You by Caroline Kepnes, which is a bit longer, but I am feeling more of like a thriller scary book than this one here. So I might start that, or I might start Horns by Joe Hill, which is another thrillery kind of thing. I kind of want to read the middle grade just so that I'll have completed 3 books by the end of the readathon, but I'm also not really feeling the plot for this one right now, and I kind of want something darker. So I'm actually kind of turning towards Horns. It's around 370 pages and I have 4 hours to read it. I don't think I'll complete it in those 4 hours, but I will get as far as I can during that time. So I'm going to get right into that and I will update you when I'm a bit further. Okay, hello, welcome to 4 o'clock. It is officially the end of the readathon, and I'm going to do a quick little wrap up for you to let you know what I read. So I read Less by Andrew Sean Greer, and that one I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. I found this book surprising. The writing was actually much nicer than most adult contemporaries about middle age that I've read. I actually quite enjoyed it, and the main character was gay. Then the main plot wasn't around the fact that he was gay, it was just part of him, which is really rare in books nowadays, so I really liked that part. And the last few pages got me me crying, and it was a really good ending. So that one was 3.5 out of 5 stars. And next I read The Lightning Thief, which is the first book in the Percy Jackson series. I had never read this before, surprisingly, so I ended up giving this one, I think, 3.5 or 4 out of 5 stars. The characters are really endearing, and I'm definitely going to be continuing on to the next book. And the last book I read these 24 hours was 180 pages of Horns by Joe Hill, so I'm about halfway through. I'm enjoying how dark it is, and it's very twisted. So Horns is about a man who wakes up and he has 2 horns on his head, and everyone he approaches starts to admit their darkest secrets to him and their darkest desires, and they ask him permission to commit sins. And then this is occurring a year after his girlfriend was brutally murdered in a forest, and everyone in the town thinks that he did it and was just bailed out by his rich parents. And so he's finding out what everyone in his town truly thinks about him and finding out who really thinks he did it. And it's really dark, and it's going back to talk about his relationship with his girlfriend and what happened that night, and I think the mystery is unraveling as to what truly happened to her. So it's very interesting. There's a movie with Daniel Radcliffe that I actually watched the year it came out, and I found it really strange, and that's pretty much all I remembered about it. So I'm glad that this plot is still going to be a bit of a surprise for me, and I'm still going to be able to enjoy the reveal of the mystery. So adding together all the pages I read in 24 hours, I read 869 pages, which isn't so bad actually. It's about what I expected, seeing as I did go to sleep because I'm weak and I need my sleep. So that is what I got through. So please like and subscribe if you liked it and if you want to. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below if you like watching 24-hour readathons and if you want me to do more. I'd be really happy to participate in Read by Zoe's Halloween-ish one, her spooky one that she does every October. So maybe I'll do that. Let me know if you'd be interested to see that, and let me know if you would ever do a 24-hour readathon, and if you have any tips to help me last through the night and not have to go to sleep. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm so excited to see you in my next video. Bye!